The Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal Big Footy rules still apply.
So this is the Flogcast for round 12. The membership microwaver from Richmond Starburns is here, and I'm joined by Mr. Moral Victory from St Kilda Cookson.
Hello.
The brains behind Hawthorn's One Direction membership campaign, Penal.
Good evening.
Proud player sponsor of James Aish from Collingwood, Morgan Ashley.
Hello.
And the father of Owen, now known as Juan, from Fremantle, Jose.
Hello.
Alright, so where do we want to begin?
Fremantle winning a game.
Well, it's goo or tears, so is that your goo?
No. Jeez. It's
Okay,
more of a relief goo, actually. Fremantle won a game. These Owen jokes are getting really annoying to me, because it's going to be Owen 11, Owen 12. These guys don't have a writer's block. So good it's now is Shawan, because I like Shawan Natter.
Oh, it's 1-1, isn't it? Or fucking,
Oh,
what
Shawan
else?
10.
1-1.
But I love the creativity of the Bay on those Owen names. They've been pretty good. I like the Owen 10 one and the Shawan 10.
So if that's not your goo or your tears, what have you got?
Goo is definitely, Matthew, oh no, not Matthew Pavlich, who is it? Oh, Chris Mayne, man. He actually played a semi-decent game. I'm sure.
Wow, you've really had a rough year, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had, he's trying to pick out who's been less shit than the other guys. But Chris Mayne played pretty well.
Oh, God.
That's, like, sad. Really
Yeah,
like
it's
Kai Lynn be on some sad music.
I feel really bad for you.
Yeah, our season's been shit. Anyways, anyone else?
Alright, Jose, yes, sure.
What a downer to start on. It's goo and it's such a downer.
All around me is familiar faces, going places.
Alright, carry on.
I'll have tears for the useless shitbags in the St Kilda lineup who get on a plane and can't play football. I mean, Armitage, you're meant to be leading the team, and you're being shit, you fucking cocksucker. Gilbert, just go become a school photographer, you're useless. The others, just fucking do your job, you useless bastards. I'm done, I'm happy now.
Do your job, mods.
Fucking do your job.
Wicked bird, mate.
At least you gave the old college try, Cookie.
Okay, that's the friend of the week.
I wish
that
my
one.
team did.
Oh, yeah, well, speaking of teams who didn't give it the old college try, fuck me. I got tears, and they're for somebody who's seen my tears once or twice this season.
Oh, I knew it.
Oh, cunt. Scott.
He had some uncharacteristic turnovers.
Oh, uncharacteristic miss, uncharacteristic turnovers. Scott Pendlebury, put your fucking head over the ball. This is what I don't want. I don't want it on a Monday for you to come out and say we need to be harder. Why don't, on a Sunday, you be harder? I don't want to hear about it today, cunt. I don't. I know what you need to do. Why can't you do it? Hand me the Monday lecture.
I continue to be amazed by the Pendlebury hate. How shit was fucking White? What, or Cloak?
No, Cloak wasn't shit.
Oh.
No, if he was wearing any other number on his back, he wouldn't have even cared about what kind of game he had.
He still only had like 5 kicks and kicked one out on the full.
He had 13 touches and took 6 marks. So, hey, let's all get up in his face about taking 6 marks. Who didn't take 6 marks? Charlie fucking Dixon.
He had a great game though.
No. Oh, did he? How many points did he kick? 2. How many goals? None.
Did he 23?
He crashed packs. He was a contested marking beast, except that he didn't mark any.
No. Cloak crashed more backs. Cloak took marks. Charlie, fuck all, kick no goals. So fuck.
You can't put it all down to stats. If you put it all down to stats, Tom Rockcliffe would be effective.
Go away.
Jesse White, how do you feel about his shanks? I mean, open goal, like miss.
Open goal miss.
Times.
Oh,
He got dumped.
that hurts me. Like, I'm the only fan, and you do that to me.
It's because he wasn't playing in the back line. Like, you weren't getting the best out of defensive Jesse White.
Like, I've liked Jesse White's games the last couple of weeks where he has been trying to be offensive, Jesse White, but it was just offensive. Like, it was offensive to my eyes. So, if you could get back in the back line and stop touching the ball, I'd be really grateful.
At least he gave it the old college try.
I should stop because we'll get to talking about the games.
At least he ran back on like uncalibrate.
See, this is a problem with and it's not just on a Canterbury, but why is it whenever Collingwood lose in really bad fashion, the first thing that always gets talked about is the fact that their midfield, not just their midfield, but a lot of players don't actually run both ways. Like, how is this still a thing after like 3 or 4 years of it being a story?
But, like, that wasn't even the case on the weekend. That's not why we lost. It's easy because someone else has said it before, and rather than actually analyse and think about why, we'll just go back to say rehash old shit. Because, hey, that saves us having to do any actual thought. Like, why do we keep putting it on Cloak? Because he's easy. Why is no one fucking abusing Adam Oxley for being an absolute fucking shit truck? No one cares about him. Why has no one...
Because Oxley is on $800,000 a year.
No one knows who he is, and you got to be Lewis Taylor levels of shit to be slammed as a young player.
Seriously,
or Jack Watt soft.
If Braden Maynard is not hung by the balls in Smith Street next week, I'm going to fucking riot. That cunt needs to go.
Yeah, Maynard is terrible.
He's
I
made of
watched
starch.
him. He was shit.
And I picked him for my super coach.
I think he's heading to Fremantle, with one of our great trade deals. I think he continues to play like that.
Pick one.
Pick one, yeah.
I think one was Cloak, or maybe they
No,
packaged
he's the
Cloak
steak
and
knives.
Maynard
He's the
up.
McFarlane in the deal, except he won't turn out anything like McFarlane.
He's the Jack Crisp steak knives.
That means he'll be really good then.
Oh, yeah, well, that obviously you haven't watched him this year. Bum bum.
That's actually, I've got Goo, and speaking of Braden Maynard, thank you for picking him at pick 30, so we could pick Daniel Wow at pick 1, and this guy is so good. He will be a future Brownlow medalist, he's that good.
Is this before or after Liam Shields wins one?
My actual Goo today is for All-Australian fullback James Frawley and All-Australian centre-half forward Jack Gunston, who are just having the most amazing seasons, and they're probably the only two players who have actually improved this year. Mitchell's probably around the same, and most of the rest of the team have got a little bit backwards. Yeah, Wapolo and Cyril's probably about the same, but a few players have gone backwards. Not these two though. They're awesome and will be All-Australian and have single-handedly won us a couple games. I noticed Crawley made Hogan his bitch show, so always good to see.
Nothing else on that?
A little bit of side goo for Alistair Clarkson and his wicked burn mate of the AFL in his presser, which is basically said they move even slower than government when it comes to rule changes, and that
Was this to do with ducking or something?
to do with ducking, yeah, because there was one dodgy one from our game involving our player. But
yes, that was interesting because Jordan Bannister actually owned up to that being a shit call on Twitter. He literally said it was a shit call. Mistakes happen. It's just like, why don't we get this more often?
yeah, and Clarko just went whack on the AFL for basically kind of stalling on it midweek and not changing anything. So good, refreshing dose of honesty from the great man.
They're a bit damned if they do, damned if they don't, though, on that high tackle thing, because everyone cracks the shits when stuff gets changed mid-year, and admittedly, it's been mixed success over time, and this one would be a harder one. But, God, they needed to commit to it.
Yeah, but we knew this was an issue
Yes, true.
5 years ago.
Well, how long Selwood been playing?
Yeah, but it only really became an epidemic where you got the younger players starting to come through, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
I've got tiers, and it was really, really tempting to have Hardwick tiers, but I... fucking idiot. But it was really tempting to put those out there after Friday, but I committed to my tiers early last week, not long after we recorded. And my tiers are for the tanking debate because of the Fremantle fucking Essendon game. Robbo got 10 pints in and wrote a piece thinking, no one's going to try because there's a pick number one on the line. And all of a sudden we have the whole fucking lottery draft debate coming back. And no one has tanked since the priority pick went. Like, it happened when there was a bonus pick. No one's ever tanked for draft position. It's not worth it to pick Wiedering over Shaki or McCartan over Petrarca. It's never been for the losses and the shitness that you go through for a year and the no wins and the poor culture. No one's ever considered that to be a reasonable price to pay. The clubs have only ever done it when they've been able to get two players, like a Revolt Cozzy number 1 and 2 sort of deal. Not that St Kilda tanked, they were just shit, but, you know, no one's done it except for those two picks. And I'm just sick of hearing about this debate. It's nauseating.
Yeah, so am I. Like,
fix a real problem like ducking.
We have been really shit. It isn't we're deliberately doing it. Our players are, you know, half of them are passengers. And when our good players go away, they get exposed.
Like, even Brendan Bolton called out that it was a ridiculous notion. Like, this is a guy who's walked into a team that has traditionally tanked and had a broken culture and, you know, didn't win games, and he's won 6 of 11 against all odds because he's gone out there and he's actually prioritised, you know, winning. And along with development, and you won't see him, you know, Carlton looked like they were going to go the list management wise, looked like they were going to go the tank this year with some of the spuds they brought in, but they've played for, you know, culture as opposed to, you know, and they'll still draft in the top, by the time they run out of steam, they'll probably still draft in the top 8 teams. It's a shit debate, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I don't like the tanking debate because, yeah, we get accused of it, and then when we start winning, it's like, oh yeah, you're not tanking anymore. But then when we start losing, they immediately say we're tanking.
Can we focus on a real problem like the fucking, like, it's papered over the ducking all of a sudden?
Yeah, ducking.
Can we just focus on the real fucking blight on the game? Not the one that got fixed 6 years ago when they said no more priority picks, which we'll come to later. Reviews. We'll begin with the closest game of the round, I think, margin-wise, which was the Bathwater. Well, they were against the Roadkill Eagles, and they only just held on, but I imagine there's some strong opinions on this.
It was a pretty close game, actually.
It was, considering West Coast are so inept on the road and Kennedy didn't play.
No, he turned up in junk time.
Yeah.
Even the last goal.
But it was a pretty good game for the first quarter, I found, but the last 3 quarters, a bit sloppy.
Last quarter was alright, but quarters 2 and 3 were just, yeah. It was close. Like, this is the weird thing about the Dogs. Defensively, they're really sound, which is strange, but they can't kick goals. Like, they're actually missing Cramry.
Maybe Cranberry's a decoy.
Fuck, I hate to say I told you so, doggies, you dickheads. I told you you'd miss Cramry more than any team was going to miss one of their suspended players. And because you were never going to get the 40 goals out of Tory Dixon again, you dickheads.
Jake Stringer continues to be the defective package.
He always seemingly does one big fend off, and everyone's like, oh, the package is here, he's arrived, but then he disappears for most of the game. I mean, you're not the next Gary Ablett. You're not even as good as fucking Cremieri. You just, you know, maybe focus on being consistent.
Seriously, try and be Nathan Ablett before you become Gary Ablett, you fucking spud.
Oh, he's getting fucking slammed. Nathan Ablett, Cramry, come on.
Nathan Ablett won premiership. That's something that Stringer
Nathan Ablett might be the worst premiership player of all
Cameron
time.
Mooney got an All-Australian because of the midfielder Geelong had.
Nick Mack
If Stringer needs to prove to himself that, you know, he could do it multiple times and start kicking goals like he should be kicking at least 3 goals a game and being the main man at that club. But he's not. He's just like, oh, yeah, no, I'll just do 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, he's putting in performances when it suits him this year. Last year he was pretty consistent across the year. This year he's high return, low return, and it's generally against the better opposition that he's not doing it, not getting it done. Like, he's wearing the extra attention, but he's not responding to it.
And like, he's going around telling his teammates to get all fancy haircuts and all that, when he's the one being on every goddamn football show and like, and sledging legends of the game. It's like, come on, man.
Who was he sledging?
Like, he sledged Nick Riewoldt last year, but then Nick Riewoldt kicked his ass in a fucking comeback.
See, only St Kilda supporters know that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I only know when Stringer's on the pitch when, you know, BT yells out, the package!
Does look like the package only rolls downhill.
Can't someone inspected that package because there's something wrong with it?
I mean, but if you're Eagles, you'll be like, ugh, another game lost on the road.
That was there to be won in parts, and they were really fucking disappointing against a team that, you know, would have actually been a reasonable scalp, like one inside the 8 away from home, and they let that slip in a game they could have easily been in considering the scoreline at the end.
They should consider recruiting more Victorians so when they get them Melbourne, they actually do know where the fuck they're going.
So they feel at home.
Maybe they need more
But-
booing.
Just watching it, like, I felt the Eagles kind of did well to stay in the hunt, because in all the other games against decent opposition away, they've just
Given up the chase.
been in it early and then gave up when it got hard, usually in the second or third quarters or something, but they kind of stuck it out the whole game, so
Dogs couldn't put it
maybe
away,
they're
though.
improving. Yeah, the Dogs are still, I guess, they have their issues in the forward line. Maybe that'll be better with when Boyd comes back, probably not though.
That's fucking optimistic.
Boyd 20-3 his first game back.
20 what, headbutts and free
Yeah.
ball trips?
I reckon fucking Matthew Boyd 20-3 is more likely than Tom.
Actually, checking out the doggies, I'm just looking through. They haven't scored 100 points in a while.
Probably not since they played St Kilda round
Yeah,
2.
no, round 8, I think. They beat Melbourne.
Yeah. That's only 3 weeks, Jose.
Yeah,
That's not very
Doggies.
footsie football then.
doggies concerning with the forward line.
A little bit.
But isn't that the story of the Dogs as a club? Can develop great players, but key forwards are like kryptonite for them.
Well, at the moment, there's
They've got 7 billion midfielders, and they cannot make one fucking forward.
well, at all just about anywhere, because at the moment their ruck stocks are average for a top 8 side, and even down back their key position stocks are okay.
Do they still have Ace Gordy?
No, they delisted him, but Minson sits in the 2s. Honestly, I haven't seen him play in 2 years, so I don't know what he's doing wrong. But obviously, he must be doing something very wrong.
No, they just don't rate tall people in football.
That's why they recruited Caleb Daniel.
If you're over 180 centimetres, they just write you off.
Like when
I
Devo
can't
got to
say-
the club, he would have been like, Will Minson? What do we need a ruckman for?
When Tom
Not gonna
Boyd
play
got
him.
there, when Tom Boyd got there, they got angry because they'd been looking at Matthew Boyd's at his height and shit, and they thought, oh yeah, that's all right. But then they got him; and he was too tall, so now they don't play him.
No, they
But
got him
maybe-
as a giant potato.
Maybe they do think that if they do have issues up forward, maybe they will make a play for Cloak.
Do you reckon someone of the Dogs probably has like a Napoleon complex about tall people?
Yeah,
Potentially.
But still, it's an opportunity for you, Jose and Fifey. You're short enough. Go to the Dogs. Ask for a job.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
But they do hate talls down there. It's quite
They're heightest.
it's almost Grant Thomas-esque thinking with the hatred of the talls.
Oh no, Tomo just didn't like Ruckman. He's just like Ruckman. Fuck him.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh.
It killed you. It crucified you.
With Tom Rhodes thinking, though, at least he won a pre-season cup with it.
Wayne Britton won a process himself.
Nothing else on the doggies?
No, have they folded yet?
No. Well, Teach isn't here, but we are going to discuss his side.
Like, that was a very good game to watch as a neutral. I mean, both teams went at it hard, fast football. Giants kicked incredibly well in front of goal. I mean, they took every chance. But, yeah, I mean, Cameron and Lobb and Patton really got blanketed out by Geelong's defenders.
Oh, Cameron just played a shit game, man. His day is seen to struggle massively. But all the other...
I didn't see any of this game, but I did hear they got a nice run
Did.
Yeah, they did.
from the umpires. Can we scratch this up to a moral victory to the Giants and that Geelong still really are in a
Yes.
Sorry. And the hole's called Geelong.
I think Geelong struggle to play away from home, though, because they win a lot at Catania Park, but when they play away, geez, they just drop off so much.
I think Geelong, like fans, they're begging for AFL to give them a final down at the shit-all because they know it's the only chance they have of winning one. That's if they make finals.
Why? They lost it last night.
I don't
They're
know.
the only one there.
Weird.
They've got a 0% winning record there. Like, name me another club that has a 0% winning record in finals at their home ground.
Where's Teach when you need him?
I just love it that the fact we inflicted it out of all teams.
Well, that just made it even more funny. Like Scarlett's last game. Ha! Freo ruined it.
Freo ruins everything about Geelong. 2013.
Freo ruins everything about Freo too.
Yeah.
I'm ruining their premiership champions last games.
And also the youth was also concerning. I mean, Ruggles had the struggles. McCarthy, don't even know who the fuck he is. Lang was meh. Motlop was just downhill skiing.
So how'd they win this game?
Off the back of Selwood,
Selwood.
Dangerfield, Bartel.
Just Selwood, he was...
And the umpires.
Apparently Zach Smith dominated Mummy too.
Mummy
And
got
the
a-
umpires, yes, of course. Yeah, it's hard to beat 21.
Geelong supporters are just that impressed with Zach Smith because they haven't had a ruckman for 5 years since what was his name? Otten's retired. So yeah, their comparisons are fucking Reece Stanley, Dawson Simpson, and Oren Stephenson. So I can understand why they really like Zach Smith, because he's a C grade player in a team that's only ever had F grade ruckman for the last 5 years.
Did anyone catch that they cheered when Stevie J kicked the goal? Or apparently they were all nice about it, like when Gazza kicked the goal.
Well, in fairness, they did delist Stevie J.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, I wonder what Teach thought about that. But they're the same people who clapped them off after a loss that enrage him. So,
you know what Teach would be thinking. He'd be like, if anyone gets stuck into Stevie J.
But speaking of Teach, I mean, we are a bit concerned about how well I think he celebrated the win a bit too hard.
I think we'll come to that a bit later.
I'm more concerned about him than his team.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
One I'd say is just weighed in with they win because Toby Green gave away 8 free kicks. So that's a lot of clangers for the Clangman.
But he also did kick 3 goals. I mean, Green actually, he's been really good this year. I mean, kicking goals.
8 free kicks. Come on.
He's really recovered from beating the shit out of that guy at the pub once.
Yeah. No, I think one of the free kicks, though, was he got abuse free kick. We had an umpire free kick. But the umpire probably deserved that because, tell you now, the free kick the umpire called was absolutely dog shit against Toby Green.
Jordan Ballister agrees.
Yes. Nothing else on that game?
Giants are still coming. Geelong
is still unconvincing.
Get better youth.
And a better stadium that's not a hole. Hawthorn got tested in the wet by Melbourne. Melbourne putting in a performance that I guess is becoming a little bit playing all right against the better teams. Now they're losing to some of the shit trucks still, but
come at us, floggos.
They weren't far off. Look, the most notable thing about this, did anyone see Jeffy Garlett's squib?
Oh yeah, a few soccer kicks. I mean, just pick the ball up.
No, the folk where he was pretending to go for a marking contest, but in actual fact was running away from the football.
Yeah,
honestly, Jeff Garlett played the worst game of football I have ever seen someone play on the weekend.
Josh Hunt and Dyson Heppel looked like fucking Glenn Archer compared to what Jeff Garlett dished up with that squib.
So
not a good week
for the X's.
They got pummeled on field, and Jeff Garlett did not want to get touched on field because that was an all-timer, and that has me thinking that one of our Bulldogs flogs, Bodhisattva, needs to bring back the Alan Didak squib medal. And even if that's the only nomination for the year, it deserves to be noted and won on the back of that, because that is an all-time squib. He short-armed it, he head-ducked, he did everything.
The game was close, but it probably shouldn't have been.
I mean, it also was funny that I think Bernie Vince got in a Twitter stoush with some NBA player because of his bitch slap or something.
What?
Yeah,
and,
was it that?
Some NBA fucking footballer started trolling Bernie.
And then Bernie responded,
was it Bogut?
No, it wasn't. It was an unknown bench player.
Because Bogut does like to get into those.
Yeah, but he's an Essence supporter.
He's a bit of a cool chugger as well. That's what I'm saying. He's a bit of an idiot.
Yeah. No, we almost kicked ourselves out of this one. We really dominated, but couldn't put it on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
bit like the Dogs. So kind of good to come away with the 4 points in the end, but it could have been a lot uglier for Melbourne.
Yeah, I was hearing that Hawthorn were playing really, really well, and I'm going, why aren't Hawthorn up by 30 plus points? But I also got my prediction right that Hawthorn would be losing when they went into half-time. So I got some money on that.
It was Joe Ingles. And Joe Ingles tweeted Bernie Vince's garbage. And Bernie Vince tweeted back to him and just wrote Joe who. And then his Tyson bet goes, coming from someone best known for Kobe dropping 60 on him.
That's like Zach Dawson calling out an NBA player. Best known for having 7 goals kicked on him by the worst 200-game player of all time.
I will say that Melbourne's midfield, like young midfield, they're going to be fucking so good in a few years' time. And unlike the Dogs, they actually do understand what tall players are.
Yeah,
so they'll be okay
they've
there.
got Hogan and they've got Wiedemann, who didn't go grandfather's son. Chris Dawes admittedly got a game back this week, which was strange, but they do have a few tools. Just now you mentioned Melbourne's young midfield. Did anyone catch? How does Tom Hawkins get a fucking week for what he did? That punch was softer than any of the 3 Viney dished out.
Well, Hawkins is fat.
Yeah, is
So-
it because he was fighting out of his weight division? Is that what it was? Does he get more points for that?
It was a handicap match.
Hawkins dodged the way in and just fought with someone he shouldn't have.
It was pretty funny watching the thread on the MRP board because Hawk supporter posted it, and all the Geelong just come in and say, "Oh no, there's nothing in it. This is just being started by a bitter Hawks poster," and then the fucking backtracking when he gets a week, it's like system's rigged.
Well, it is. That was the most stupidest.
I guess it's
discussion
probably
I've ever
to factor in the umpiring advantage they got this week. Nothing else on Melbourne Hawks?
seen.
No, Hawthorn just doing what they have to in the last quarter
Pretty
again.
much.
Pretty much.
Let's go to Carlton beat the Bryans by quite comfortably in the end. Carlton got a big win over the X's because they racked up 100 points. Look, most notable thing out of this game is Tom Rockcliffe. 48 disposals, 0 impact. And even the broadcaster, I think it was 3AW or ABC, was it? Noted that he was not fucking doing anything.
He probably had fucking negative meters gained.
It averaged out. He had 10 per disposal.
Sounds about right.
Also, he always got 200 fantasy points in the AFL.
200 AFL
But he-
fantasy points. That doesn't factor in anything of worth, though. That's just
Oh no.
you just get a point for kicking it, whether it hits a target or goes forward.
I'm just talking about-
or not.
I'm just talking about
Yeah.
stats padding. He did a pretty
real
good
question,
job.
the real question is how many real Dream Team points did he get?
Probably Supercoach points probably got like 60 because he was right. He was just being a crab. Literally a crab.
It did not go unnoticed. Just how little impact he was having. Like Carlton didn't even bother to put a tag on him. This is reaching Lewis Taylor and Jared Grant levels of not giving a fuck about him getting the ball.
I mean, you compare it to Zorko, who got it like half as much, yet had 5
Yeah,
times
like,
the impact.
Maybe you could. He had 48 disposals and only 4 inside 50s.
Not according to the scoreboard, he didn't. Dane Zorko kicked 4 behinds. Tom Rockcliffe 1 goal.
Bad day for Zorko. Bad day for
Like,
Zorko.
admittedly, if you could tell that every ball he was getting, he was feeding into the hands of Zorko or Pierce Hanley, then maybe he wouldn't be so regarded as so ineffectual. But if you actually watch him, they're fucking nothing disposals to no one damaging, or players less damaging than himself, because, sometimes Taylor gets on the end of him. It's just, so much is wrong with
Tom
the
Belden
Bryans,
played
and the
well.
fact that this guy's their captain and an on-field leader, and by some considered their most important player, just sums up exactly where they're at.
Tom Belden played pretty well. Like, he played pretty well the last few games. Carlton really did a
He's
number
having
on
a
him.
good year. Well, Carlton didn't want to get rid of him, to be fair. He went home for personal reasons, and he's doing pretty well.
John Bell's a good footballer.
Yeah. If they could get more Tom Bells and less Alan Christensen's, maybe they wouldn't be in such shit shape. But
Yeah, I'm just saying that Tom Belden have a good game. He usually kicks like at least 3 or 4. Carlton get him.
he's not a goalkeeper. He just happened to kick goals a couple of weeks. He's more of he's an inside mid that actually moves the ball forwards. So shock horror. He's not rated that highly in Brisbane, I guess. But he hits the scoreboard and everything else. So, breath of fresh air for them. But Carlton, Wiedering's dominating, probably sewing the rising star up.
Yeah, so
Carriage
what I
was good.
learnt this week was that Wietering and Cripps are once in a generation players.
What's this?
Main board thread.
You sure that was the main board, not the fucking Carlton board? Someone actually posted that on the main board.
Maybe someone got lost while trying to find the Carlton board, but they definitely posted it on the main board.
Yep.
Oh, fuck me.
Are there any actual once-in-a-generation players in the AFL?
Right now,
Franklin.
Apart from
Ablett.
Ablett. And maybe
Like-
Franklin.
You're talking about guys who are literally, once in a generation basically means this guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame and probably legend status.
So
Five.
Ablett.
So Ablett,
Ablett, Buddy,
that's it.
I'd say
That's
Nick
it.
Breyward, but that's probably me being a bit gooey.
yeah, he's
Well, Five's going to be in there for a completely different
no,
reason.
he's not. But Rewalt's very close, as would say.
Revolt's probably the next closest. He's the one that...
Jard, Mitchell, they're probably nearly there, but
Revolt's the one if he somehow managed to hang on for another 3 or 4 years, which is big if. But if he hung on long enough to actually take St Kilda to the promised land somehow, big if. If he had a Shane Crawford style send-off, he would elevate himself, I think. But whilst he's got no flags, and his legacy's kind of going to be helping...
Having no flags.
no flags, Nick.
Nick, no flags. Whilst his legacy's going to be a development kind of steering the ship a little bit, he's not going to break in. He's not going to break to that next level. And as unfortunate as that is for him, that's how we view it. You got to have that.
The Hall of Fame's a load of shit anyway.
But no, okay. But when you're talking,
where's Sav Rocker?
Good point. I mean, Sav Rocker's there.
They got him confused with his brother, and they're like, we can't put the first 200 game player in there.
Every player above him on the goal kicking tally is in, and fucking about 200 players below him are in, and he's the only one that's not. I'm on Sav for Hall of Fame.
Mate, why are you talking? Trevor Barker's not in the Hall of Fame now. That's the tragedy. And yet fucking Mark Bickley is.
Michael O'Loughlin is.
Fucking Mickey Yaro, Jesus Christ.
Actually, talking about once-in-a-lifetime players, Matthew Pavlich.
Oh.
Once in a lifetime knows.
No, he's a once-in-a-generation for Fremantle, and unfortunately, Nat Fyfe's the next one, and then you're only going to get one more when Fyfe's career is winding down. But no, they're not once-in-generation players. Anything else on that game?
It's good to be Carlton supporters. I mean, realise that your season expectations have already been met. I was halfway through. I mean, Jesus Christ, they can just go and party mode.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to get ahead of themselves, though, because that is a very...
I wouldn't mind it.
Carlton thing to do.
They should party all week. Just party all week. Be drunk. Don't show up to the game next week. It'll be fine. Perfectly fine by me.
Let's go to the Puffers puffed themselves up again with another win over a bottom 10 side.
Collingwood was shit.
Yeah, Collingwood was shit.
Wet conditions. They put the game away early.
You've won one game. Shut up.
You guys were shit.
Fuck up, Jose.
Like, I saw shades of Fremantle in Collingwood. So
You did not.
They're not that bad.
I must agree with Jose. I saw shades of Fremantle with the way they were going about it.
Like,
was
they were
just
playing themselves into trouble. Like, that's what Fremantle do.
Our captain was as useless as yours has been.
Hey, come on, he had a good game
forward,
this week.
Their highly priced and rated forward was about as useless as Fremantle's has been. Except they didn't have a Chris Mayne to kick goals this week. Jesse was their Chris Mayne, and he didn't do it.
I will say that.
So they're probably worse than Fremantle.
I look at Collingwood and I see, how tactically they're laid out, and I honestly don't think the players understand what Buckley's doing, or Buckley's overcomplicating it. I mean, there was one free...
That's what it's like to watch Richmond play.
Did they understand it last week? Did they understand it the week before? They seem to.
So that's two games.
Geelong aren't very good.
It's not a lack of understanding, it's a lack of effort. They know what the plan is. They're not putting it into place.
Does explain why there's one person freak always in the Port Adelaide forward line.
That was really strange. Like they weren't fucking manning up Wingard. My God.
And that goes back to the not running both ways thing.
Yeah.
Like how else do you explain the fact that Port constantly had 3 players up forward?
Oh, I can tell you. His name's Braden Wingard.
Talking about Wingard though.
It's
didn't 23.
We're not talking. Shut
Future
up!
Fremantle player.
Game! Shut up, Jose! Like, I don't think you understand how a team is supposed to function cohesively when it has Adam Oxley, Tuvey, and Maynard in the same fucking area. Like, you're supposed to spread your retards out across the ground, not put them all in the same place. Fuck me!
I have a question. Why the fuck did I pick Braden Maynard in my super coach?
Oh, because you're not
drunk.
Football.
Does he score points? Is he a bit of a Tom Rockcliff?
No.
I think it's like 80 or 70.
Okay, yeah, so he's scoring points in spite of his shitness, just like Rockcliffe.
No.
I have a question. Why did Collingwood pick Braden Maynard instead of Daniel Wow?
Oh, God.
I know. You could be saying wow every time. Like the sham wow.
Instead you just got a sham.
Yeah, I need a sham wow because I say wow every time he gets the ball and then my floor's all dirty.
You need to wipe up the goo with his sham wow.
Nothing else on Puffers versus Collingwood?
Nope.
Nah, fuck off, Scott Pendlebury.
Alright, North bounced back on the Friday night down in Tassie. The most notable thing I got out of this game was Brad didn't coach again. Is this a thing? Is Brad not allowed in Tassie ever since he kicked that security guard?
He's
Got
not
a
allowed
restraining
to
order.
Big bad Brad's not allowed in Tassie. Every time he goes to go there, I reckon he went to leave and the staff said, "Sorry, sir. We can't allow you access to Tasmania due to you."
It's like on a no-flight list, like Tasmanian terrorist watchdog.
Uh-huh.
You do need a passport to go down there.
He's on the
you?
He's on the watch list. And
So
so,
got a
like,
conviction in Tassie.
yeah, for kicking.
He got charged with kicking a guy, didn't he? And then it got thrown out or something. I don't know.
Probably jumped.
It's clearly a settlement. But no charges against Brad, but he's not allowed to come back.
Yeah, no coming back to Hobart. And he thought he could sneak in because it would be dark, but no. They still said fuck off.
To Richmond, I felt really sorry for him towards the end. 0 on interchange. They weren't going to get anywhere close to North.
I don't feel sorry for them.
They should have done what they did in the NAB Cup and just took all their players off.
It was infuriating to watch as North moved the ball down, that they kept dropping back, like, I don't know what it was, and just giving them this space in front of, what fucking structure is that? And once again, this is why I was going to have tears for Hardwick if it wasn't for the tanking, because what the fuck is that? It's just, no. Just fucking, how about you let them play some instinctive football instead of getting in their heads and giving them these fucking ridiculous instructions of just fold back, retreat like you're French. Just
retreat like you're Garlic.
Well, maybe they were scared of Magic Jaw.
Well, he didn't exactly miln them. It was infuriating, and, however many on the bench doesn't make a difference when you're not prepared to turn up and play.
I thought it was going to be like
with a game plan that can actually beat a team.
Like
they look like they didn't want. This was the worst one of the year. This is just like one of those games from earlier in the year where it looked like there was no plan on how to score and win. It was just, how do we not lose? It was very Ross Lyon-esque. How do we stop them scoring? And when you do that, you just get goals piled upon you now anyway. So yeah. One thing I did notice though, Boomer Harvey in game 420 kicked goal number 500, and I was gonna point this out before he broke the record in about 7 weeks' time. But really, for a front-running, goal-hungry half-forward/mid to only be averaging 1.2 goals a game over a career, this just plays into what I was going to say in 6 weeks' time. But he might have played 400-odd games, but he's marginally better than average footballer who's played a lot of games.
He's Petrie plus 100 games.
He's Anthony Rocker plus double.
He's the best Harvey played in the last 20 years. Conclusively.
Got breaking news. Suzanne Olsen hopes Neil Danaher is as well as he can be. Such an unfortunate illness he's got. Got a text message from him yesterday asking for money. You sent her a text message asking for money.
Yeah, nothing else on the game?
That's it on that game.
Wait, mate, there's nothing else.
We'll move on to Freo.
It was nice of him to clap Crowley.
Yeah. That's culture, isn't it?
Yep. Superior culture compared to West Coast. Jeez, they probably boo all the old players.
It was such a nothing game. I mean, we knew Freo was going to win.
Well, they're old players, but you keep all yours.
Touche.
Yeah, Zach Merritt played well, and that's about it.
The forward line started kicking goals for once, and we actually marked the ball, but that's pretty much it. This game was so nothing, because it was, of course, Fremantle going to win by 80-plus points.
Yeah, this was a game that didn't matter. Owens changed his name by deep hole. Kohler's got it done in the shit weather. Look, you can't say too much about it.
Holy shit. That weather, man. Holy shit. How did they play at that?
Oh, that was just disastrous. I'm so glad that when I went there it was nice and sunny.
They could have got the actual skis on and started playing.
Someone could have drowned.
It's a shame the Spurs weren't playing. I could have skied.
I mean, it was a fairly low crowd, but you understand. I mean, that was just water polo conditions.
I thought Jasny's thread was a little bit harsh about Fold the Suns because they only drew 4,000 to this game.
It's like, it's lucky you drew 4,000.
that's a fucking win.
I couldn't believe there were people even there. Most people would have gone home to flooded houses and shit. Fuck sitting at the football when that's happening.
I did like how there's like people in scuba gear and the sidelines, and there's like the photo of the one kid sitting in the stand is pissing down, and he's like got no like rain jacket on. I'm thinking that's even sad or some shit. It was just funny to watch.
It probably wouldn't have been cold, the rain.
No, it would have been probably. It would have been humid
sticky.
Though, probably with all the moisture around and that. But
it was intriguing to watch. It like actually intriguing.
I like wet weather football. I didn't actually see this game, but there is that element. It's always fun to watch, and the Swans dodged a bullet because these games can be tricky if you're not switched on.
I wouldn't blame the Swans if they lost this. I mean, it was a genuine 50-50.
No, neither.
I'll say both teams competed well considering the conditions.
Wet weather does certainly even things out. Wet weather makes it effort versus effort, and if your effort's there, you beat them.
Yeah, if it's And if it's a good team versus a shit team, it kind of drags the good team's skill levels kind of down a bit to match the other teams.
Yeah, so you got to want it more. You really have to want it.
I mean, at least Richmond didn't play, because Hardwick could probably say, yeah, just chip the ball around a lot, it'll be fine.
Oh, fuck, yeah. No shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one... Did anyone get injured in that game? I'm surprised no one did.
No?
It was a bit of a quagmire, but...
Yeah, it's good, someone would do a knee or something like that, because, it's slippery, stuff like that.
It's a lot harder to do a knee when the ground's got a bit of give in it. Your foot just goes in it. There's a lot more there. Anyway, let's move on. Last game that didn't matter. Crows skied.
Yeah, anyone on the temp goes in there, they get fucking walloped. Besides that time, that team that shall not be named went in there, and they only got hit by 30 points. But, every team that goes on there, on the temp, gets walloped by like 100 plus points. No surprise.
We got fucking smashed.
Pretty much.
I still think St Kilda played better than Fremantle did when Fremantle played there,
yeah.
so there's that.
It was a scrap fest, but, you get the picture. Adelaide just wipe anyone off the park. I mean, Adelaide Oval.
I do like how we've had injuries. Hugh Goddard got injured, which
Except
really
for John,
sucks.
they lost to, you dickhead.
So, yeah, no. Goddard injured, McCartan injured. We lost Dempster and Sam Fisher as well, so we have no key defenders.
Shit.
We're well fucked.
You've got Tom Lee. I didn't realise he was still on your list until at some point they fucking trot him out for one game this year, and I was like...
We got Luke Delaney and Tom Lee. That's our key defender stocks.
Yeah, Tom Lee should have been playing in front of Goddard because he's earned his spot more than Goddard did. But on performance in the VFL, but because people were asking about where Goddard was, they played him and boom. Now he's out for a year. How's that trade working out for you, St Kilda?
Oh.
They got rid of Reece Stanley.
They still won.
They
Goddard could never play another game, and they still won.
Yes. His 10 games last year, better than anything Stanley dished up. Unbelievable that you're actually going to play that card.
Stanley.
If anything, at worst it's a 0-0 draw for St Kilda. But really, Goddard's only got to play 40 or 50 games. He's
better
than Tom Boyd's level 2.
At the moment it's a 0-0 draw with St Kilda winning on penalties.
Well, that's a win.
So a win. That's still just disappointing. Like, I don't know why we get on a plane and we turn to shit, but someone better sort it out.
You didn't do that when you went to Launceston, so I think it's just when you head west. As soon as you start flying west...
It's a time zone thing.
Not acclimatizing. You need to get that extra 30 minutes and 2 hours sleep.
St Kilda is basically the bizarro West Coast, anytime.
It's probably the further they fly, the earlier they have to get there just to be safe. So it means they've got more time in the hotel rooms to fuck about and have the St Kilda-style bonding sessions and out come the cameras and Sam Gilbert
in the hotel they were too busy practicing their selfies for their after game.
Wouldn't surprise me if we do.
It's like they were rattled by the criticism and they spent all week practicing selfies instead of practicing football.
Let's go to the talking points. Well, we'll stay on St Kilda. St Kilda want to bring in conferences. I'm not sure what the angle is here.
Well, they're trying to do the NFL-style stuff, but
yeah,
in a really bad way.
They
like
must
the
have put
AFL
themselves in the same one as Fremantle, so they could play them twice a year. That must be the angle here.
We have a conference with ourselves, and just ourselves, and we get by for the finals.
I think you still win the spoon that way.
It's just AFL going to implement the scheme, any scheme, whatever they do, and they completely stuff it up. It's like the goal review system at the start. It was an absolute mess.
We still have the goal review as a mess because it's not even at all grounds.
Yeah. We don't need a conference system. Like in theory, it would work if they had something like a soft conference system that rotated over years, but a permanent one. It doesn't really suit our singular ladder.
I'd like to see some sort of rolling type fixture, not a conference system, but something that basically guarantees that over a 5 or whatever year period of time, every team plays in every state, every team plays every other team a certain number of times, so you don't get kind of bullshit scenarios where Hawthorn don't go to Brisbane for 10 years or something like that. Just some things that guarantee X number of games between two teams over a period of time, but don't go splitting them into conferences.
There's a really easy way to do it. 18 teams across 22 rounds. You could, over the 4 years, you'd play everyone twice in one of those years, and you could play a rival team twice every one of those years, which means the derbies and the showdowns don't have to move etc. Like you could play one team like that every year twice, and then the rest of the teams you could play them twice 1 year. It'd be really easy to do it and rotate it like that, and you'd still get to keep the things that mean Freo and West Coast don't have to travel that extra week.
So every club plays each other once. They have one designated rival week, then the rest they just rotate amongst the other teams.
Yep, and the 4 remaining double-ups get each year for 4 years, and that takes up the other 16 teams, yeah.
Yeah, then as you just reverse like home and away.
Exactly,
each
and reverse
18
it, and
rounds.
you're going to play those teams over 4 years 5 times, so you'll probably, 3 and 2, something like that. It would be really easy to do.
Which means the AFL won't do
No,
it.
doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's go to... Did anyone catch the Crows with wandering out on the ground? This was last week, but we missed it. The Crows going out and practicing on the ground whilst the women's football game was going.
How disrespectful. How disrespectful by a team that's wanting a license in the women's
Well, they're
league.
going to get one because Port gave up.
Well, gave up because, I don't know, they haven't got enough Chinese women's food team.
One-child policy.
Because the Chinese don't rate women, so there's no point having that around. But seriously, how do you think that that's okay? And that's just
This is the sort of thing I would expect from St Kilda.
to actually, there's a game in play. It doesn't matter. Like when they talked about it on the footy show, it doesn't matter who it is. There is a game in play, and you just think that you can go on there. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, if someone came on and disrupted the Oz kickers at halftime, you'd say, "Gee, that's a bit uncalled for." They're trying to have fun and play a game, and obviously the women's it's going to be a serious comp for so we need to take it seriously. Even you, Adelaide.
You're trying to build it up. They're trying to make this a thing and make it look, women's football matters to you. Well, look how much it didn't matter to a team that's going to have their own women's team. What a laugh.
Sends a terrible message to the unfortunate women who are going to play for that shithole team in that shithole city.
It's very South Australian, isn't it, to be quite a few years behind on the uptake.
Oh, sorry, guys. We actually rate women here now.
Are women even allowed to vote in South Australia?
I just don't understand why it would go on during the games. Come on.
Just let the games happen. You can do your pre-game warm-up and whatever the
They have
Crows
a
players do.
flashy new stadium with I'm pretty sure it's a pretty big set of rooms down there to kick the football in. It's quite large. They made a big fuss about how they could train down there.
Why can't they go just over to the bridge and kick on that? Fucking.
Well, because they're next to all the ferals in South Australia,
They might get beaten up like Clarko.
Run afoul of an angry pufferfish, just loitering around.
Run into Alfred out the front. Just start throwing Asian food at him or something.
Nothing else on the Crows and women's football,
No, they don't deserve a team.
but they're gonna get one. Well done, Port Adelaide.
But Port Adelaide, this is all your fault. Fucking see Port Adelaide fucking up again.
All right, last of the talking points. The Bryans, and we've kind of hinted at this. The Bryans want a priority pick. The Bryans are going to ask for a priority pick. Now, has it been confirmed what sort of priority pick are they going to ask? Are they going to ask for a first rounder, or are they going to ask for an end of first rounder? Or because if they're going to ask for a pick to go with, presuming they finish second bottom, which I think they will, just ahead of Essendon, do they really want pick 2 and 3? Is this what they're asking for?
I think did they put in for one last year, same as Carlton, and that was a first rounder. So I think they asked for pick 2 and 3 last year, and they're going to do the same this year.
For fuck's sake, how about you get your own house in order and actually figure out all the problems with your coach and your list and your captain, and actually figure out those problems before you ruin some kid's career?
You're not going to even keep him anyway, so just fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. In 3 years' time, when the kid fucks off home, they're going to be asking for another one. How about they get their house in order, and then if shit's still fucked, go, we've tried everything, no matter what we do, it's not working. Then you ask, instead of going, what's the quickest fix? Let's not fix ourselves. Let's just ask for help.
You don't ask. You stop right now being a fucking charity handout fucking piece of shit football club, and you stand up for yourself and go, you know what, we'll build something ourselves. And
like an academy.
And we will make this good. And we'll make this a place where we can keep players, and players won't want to fucking run away as soon as they can. You know what they should do? Stop Alan Christensen rooting all the players' wives and get Bell to do it, so at least their father sons will be fucking good.
They have a fucking academy, and they're worried about How about you actually
Use the academy?
use the academy to find some decent athletes, develop them into footballers, and keep some of those, draft some players who actually want to be there. Instead of drafting James Aish, who clearly didn't want to be a footballer enough, as he's showing at Collingwood, how about you draft someone who unconditionally wants to be a footballer to the extent that they will play anywhere that's not completely fucking broken?
Seriously, how did I become collateral damage in this? Why do you have to hurt me?
Well, because that's the thing.
Note,
They're fucking up their draft picks by taking these guys that don't want to be there, and they might not be the most talented. You might be drafting, say, with Aish, they had pick 7. Maybe if they drafted the 9th or 10th best player in that draft instead of the 7th, he might still be there and contributing. But instead, they've got fucking nothing, and they've gone backwards because they're too stubborn, to actually settle for someone who wants to play for them. And
What year is Aish drafted?
2 years.
13 or 14?
14.
Yeah, he had 2 years
I
at
think-
Brisbane and then he fucked off. So
No, 13.
under
13.
13, first year 14.
I just think, like, why are Brisbane even asking for it? I mean,
Yeah, fix the
St
club.
Kilda's won less games, and we're not asking for it. We're like, oh, well, we'll just fucking rebuild normally.
They-
Take a bit of chances with players.
Why would you give a club a priority pick if they don't even know what they're doing with their fucking coach?
Because that's not what your culture is. Because you have a little bit of fucking spine about you. You're not some kind of fucking... Oh, they make me so angry.
Ouch.
Fuck off.
They could have had Patrick Cripps, but they took Aish instead.
And you know what?
Ouch.
You know what? Patrick Cripps
That prick chips.
probably would
He
have
would have
stayed.
stayed. He would have stayed.
He would.
Yeah,
As long as Tom Rockcliffe didn't fucking treat him like shit, which he probably does, considering Adcock and all that other stuff. But he might have actually stayed, and they'd kept him. And this goes back to the poor culture from when Crazy Vossi ruined what they had going for him years ago by getting rid of Riscatelli, or forcing Riscatelli out, who might have been their next captain, and meant they wouldn't have had to have appointed Rockcliffe.
Well, speaking of Rockcliffe treating people like shit, I like that he, or rather found funny that he took a bit of a swipe at Matheson during the week and said he needs to cut out the ducking, which obviously I agree with that point of view, but your captain coming out and saying it in a press conference and publicly criticising you
a second game
probably
player.
isn't the best way to go about it.
No, it's just
and it's
creates
like,
this
no wonder
schism in the
everyone
playing
fucking
group.
hates this guy.
Exactly, like you want these guys to stay there and play there, and you don't want them fucking off home so that you don't have to ask for priority picks and be a charity case, as Morgs says. So
Yeah,
how about
like,
just
have that conversation behind closed doors,
Yes.
and I've got no problem with it. But publicly fucking hanging out a second game player to dry,
When,
yep,
when
no
you're,
wonder you
Best
hate
look.
it.
when you're not exactly scot-free, and it's not like you don't have things that you could work on yourself.
yeah.
Having your captain come out, unless there's no flies on you, having your captain come out and, just kick the others doesn't look good. Shut up, Scott Pendlebury.
Unless you're a guy like Luke Hodge, who has a fucking impeccable record in the public opinion, then it's not really your place to be criticising.
Unless you're a good bloke, you don't get to do that.
But yeah, you're right. It's garbage. They need to stop relying on fucking handouts and actually start build. Like they've made poor decisions off field all the way through. They built
They
that
don't deserve it.
facility. Yeah, they're not running themselves well, and admittedly, the AFL needs to take a look at the clubs that don't run themselves well. And they've done it with Melbourne, they've done it with Carlton over the years, and they've looked at these clubs. They're going to need to have a look at Brisbane, and they're going to need to say, no, you need to fix your other shit before we start giving you, before we start wasting resources.
Yeah, if they do,
a la
if they do what they
kids on
did
you.
with Melbourne, where they they obviously
Hey,
installed the CEO themselves and then paid for the coach. Like, Brisbane need a slow 5+ year rebuild, even from now.
They need a coach who can
They
actually
need to
coach.
start with new administration, new board, new coach.
They need to run the
Just
broom
clean the
through.
whole place
They
out.
need to get rid of fucking Lee Fall, who's so self-serving that he thinks that the draft should be done over 2 years. Because what do you know? If you did it that way, Brisbane would have the number 1 pick this year, and probably the year after, because Essendon will probably win more games once they get their banned players back. So how about he pulls his pants up, steps away from the urinal, and does some work to actually fix the club instead of thinking of bizarro solutions.
And
Instead of being a fat bug trying to get rid of the other team that's their
Yeah,
competition.
exactly. And distracting,
It's not
throwing
like there
fucking
aren't-
jabs at the other club that's, actually trying to go about things the right way, just fucking it up.
Yeah, instead of throwing punches from behind at poor Gold
It's not
Coast.
like there aren't blueprints as to how it's done.
There's
like you
so
look
many.
at Hawthorn 10 years ago, Carlton under Bolton now.
Richmond,
Even Essendon.
like Richmond have built from the Wallace and Frawley fuck ups into, we're not winning a flag, but certainly we're not the basket case anymore because you actually got to.
You make good crowd numbers and money off the field, so I guess that's all your board is happy with.
But Geelong, even fucking, who else are we talking? Port Adelaide, fucking
we
Port
did it.
Adelaide. Port Adelaide,
Yeah,
Port Adelaide went through the
from 11,
compromised
12
draft
to
era.
from Primus to
Yeah,
the
and
era.
got rid of Primus and cleaned out the bad culture of sorts, and found a good appointment as a coach.
I mean, we managed to rise up the ladder with Grant Thomas as a coach, for fuck's sake. I mean,
The argument is, you don't understand what it's like in the northern fucking states. But we
You don't understand what
we
football is.
we
Shut
understand
up.
how you build a fucking football club. It's not that hard. Become a home for mercenaries and guys running away from their problems like Christensen. Yeah, it's bullshit. Anyway, anything else on that?
Nope.
Let's move on. Question time. First one comes from One-Eyed Saner. If you could deactivate any Flogs account permanently, who would it be and why?
Starburns, because he's shit.
Just for that, I will deactivate your account because I can.
Oh, look at you flexing your muscles.
Damn right.
I'll this week probably Teach because it's a fucking rabbit.
Hang on. We'll come to him. We'll forget Teach.
Okay,
We'll come back to him in about 5 minutes' time.
I wonder what for.
I would not deactivate someone's account, but I would strongly recommend that some people do not go on the bay. Hi, Divvy.
I would deactivate Man with No Names account just because it would be very interesting to see what he would actually do with his life when he has the one thing
Can we
he
deactivate his Twitter account
wakes
too?
up to do. Yeah, that's the only thing he's got going for him in his life, and I just want to see what happens to him once that's gone. So yeah.
But how else? But who else would create the valet friends?
Whoever that poor bastard was who created the Jack Black one prematurely.
Yeah, I'd go with Man About No Name
Maybe
as well.
he's a boys. He did that one about Owen. Since Man with No Name's taken, fuck it, why not? Chunky Chicken.
No, I have to think of one. I'd go with Tazhawk 15, so people think my alias is the
What
actual
about
one.
you?
Oh, you're such an attention whore. Yeah, I'd nominate Jose. 'Cause he annoys the shit.
Fuck off, Jose.
Well, can we
For
also
real.
could also nominate Mud? He was melting just fucking being a wanker.
Yeah, I think the West Coast supporters are quite accurate of him. He's quite a sprinkler.
One-Eyed Saint also wants to know who's the most overrated player, both at your club and not at your club.
At St Kilda, I'm going to say Sam Gilbert. I mean, some people on other boards think Sam Gilbert's carrying St Kilda. He's not. You think that, you are a fucking mongoloid and kill
I want
yourselves.
to go a similar track on recent comments at the moment that people seem to be talking up. Fucking Sean Hampson. No. He's a fucking potato. Shut the fuck up.
Scott Embleberry.
I thought you were going to say Maynard because Cookie put him in his super coach.
If anyone actually rates Maynard, they're retarded. But on this year, Scott Embleberry.
I can't actually answer this question because Hawthorn
Brad Hill.
don't have any overrated
Brad
players. They're all criminally
Brad
underrated. Okay, fine. If I have to pick one, Brad Hill. Entire competition, Joel
Entire
Selwood.
competition,
He's
Surioli.
an overrated
Was
sniper.
was that a deliberate pun? Criminally? Because some of them are criminally rated. Like Brent Hill.
I'm going to go Scott Pendlebury. He's unaccountable.
The reach arounds don't come for another 3 minutes.
But he fucking is, though. Unaccountable. He misses, easy shit. I mean, he's had a crap season this season compared to his lofty standards.
Yeah,
And you watch, he'll
ever
still
since
make your in squad.
ever since I think it was Starburns mentioned the uncharacteristic miss with him, I've been looking out for that, and it's happened
It wasn't
so
me who
often this
mentioned
year.
No, I mentioned it. Uncharacteristic miss every time he does it.
Yeah, I've been since you mentioned that. Sorry, I got the quote wrong, but yeah, since you mentioned it, I've been looking out for it, and it's happened so often this year.
I noticed
so
it this
he
week.
definitely.
It's Judd-esque. Judd Shanks-esque.
Exactly right. That is exactly what it is. It's like Judge Shanks. Oh, uncharacteristic. Oh, fucking no. Just It melts my brain.
He's still better than Tom Rockcliffe, though, obviously.
So am I. So is James H.
I'll go with mine. Nick Subban. It's overrated Fremantle.
Nobody rates
Nick Subban.
Nobody rates Nick Subban.
A lot of Fremantle board people do.
At least pick fucking Neil or someone that we know.
Okay.
Well,
Lockie
Monday
Neal.
is
I'll
not
go
as
with
good
him.
as
He's the
Deledio.
biggest stat patter I know, Lockie Neal. And David Mundy's better than Deledio. And the overrated in the league is
Thanks,
Joel
Tav.
Selwood.
Jeez,
Joel Selwood's overrated. He's not
Pendle
very
be
good.
fucking copping it here.
Oh, because all Joel Selwood has is getting hit high free kicks. That's it.
All right. Red Vest Morgs wants to know why was there only 28,567 people at the Pies home game?
Yeah, I was really, really shocked at the crowd. Like, it was a cold day and it did rain all day, but it wasn't the kind of game you go, oh, I better not go today. Like, I don't particularly like the early Sunday game. I think it's a shit time, but I was still there.
So,
There was still 5 of us
do you
there.
reckon Scott Pendlebury should send him a message to harden up?
If he sends me another text message, he's getting another reply. Fuck.
What if he sends Suze a text message asking for money?
Oh, yeah. She might. If he texts her asking for money, oh god, that's so funny.
No, but do you think all the Collingwood supporters are staying away because he's playing?
No,
Probably staying away because Travis is playing.
no one's staying away because of Travis, and no one's not. Like, people aren't not turning up because of. Like, someone said on the radio on SEN tonight, people aren't turning up because of Buckley. Like, you're fucking. Are you retarded? Like, last week's effort. Last week we didn't win, but the effort was good. The game plan was solid. If it wasn't for the injuries, we probably would not have lost that game. Like, no one off the back of that isn't turning up. That just doesn't make sense.
So the supporters need to harden up and get out in the cold weather. Pendlebury's right.
Fucking do. Turn up. Maybe, I don't know, is it the off-pay week of Centrelink? I'm not sure. I don't know.
K4E wants to know are the pufferfish becoming overinflated again? Short answer, yes.
Yes, because they're thinking about games 6 weeks in advance.
And calling it a 50-50.
And calling it a 50-50 against the side that's top of the table. You're not even in the 8, you fucking mong.
Well, they're calling, like, West Coast away at Perth a 50-50.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
that's even
that's
stupider.
100. That's 100-0. This is West Coast we're talking about.
No,
Yeah,
they're
but also,
talking
like,
about in Perth, away for them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
they're
I mean.
putting-
West Coast will beat them by 10 goals.
Yeah, but they're thinking, oh yeah, we'll
No,
win, we've got a
not
chance.
even 50-50. Not even if West Coast were a bottom 10 team, I don't think.
Well, when you think about it, it all boils down to this. Every game is a 50-50. You either win or you don't.
Or you draw.
Draw.
Give me off chance.
Yeah, not a
33,
dance ball.
33, 33.
When Dan's involved-
that doesn't add up to 100.
I think the pufferfish
Yeah,
will be
exactly.
coming
I'm
back to
supposed to-
reality next week.
Are you not supposed to be good with numbers? Fucking hell.
That was penal.
I reckon the doggies will beat Port, I reckon, and they'll come streaming back down to reality.
Well, that wouldn't be surprising.
It's alright. Next week they'll be up again because they'll fucking forget that they're shit.
Yeah, because they're playing a team that cannot be named next week.
Let's go to this week on the Bay. Let's start with thread of the week.
Wicked burn, mate.
That one,
Gold
definitely
Coast
good.
tried.
It's got to be that, Fred.
Yeah.
Hang on. What about Owen? Owen changes his name by Depol to 1-1. 1-1 sounds like
This
a
could be
panda
Fred
name.
of the week or Fred of the week.
I will say also the Ross Lyon Fred from Plugger that delivered some premium Fremantle melts, and Bender was just knocking flogs out in that Fred.
Not as funny as the Rockcliffe one though.
Do we have a worst thread of the week?
No, because we have flog of the week for that.
Oh, good. Are we at that point yet? Because I think I nominate Tire Boys. I love Depol. Depol was great.
I think Depol for all the wrong reasons. It was a more epic backfire. The other one was just a bit of repeating the jokes, whereas this one was just... This is a train wreck from start to finish, and it continues to be one because he keeps fronting up. He just doesn't...
Just doesn't get it. Like, when you
No.
fuck up that monumentally, you have to abandon thread. Like, abort.
Okay, everyone's seen the Simpsons episode where Homer becomes a boxer, and he wins basically
Yep.
by just absorbing all the hits and never fighting back
Hope
with
it's
anything. Like, and they get tired. That's basically Tire Boys in this thread. He'll outlast the trolling in that thread because he'll just front up and keep getting hit. And sure, he'll respond with insults, but they are about as effective as a Tom Rockcliffe disposal. So, you know, No one's getting smacked down by them, but eventually people will get bored of him, and he'll have a victory in his own mind there.
That's the thing with Tyre Boys. He drags you down to his level and then beats you with experience.
Well, he doesn't really beat you as such, but he'll never sink away with tail between his legs. He'll give up fight.
There's a good unintentional pun in there, Starburns. I think you referenced the other posters will all get tired. So.
But yes, I think that one wins, but honourable mention to the giving it the good old college try.
Robbed.
Mods, do your fucking job.
Speaking of mods, do your job and giving it the old college try, let's go to Flog of the Week, and I think we're unanimous on the winner of this.
3, 2, 1.
Teach.
What is this, 3 out of the last 4 now or something?
3 out of the last 4.
Repeat.
Can he actually win Flog of the Year?
Yeah, he really needs to.
Should he be leading at the moment?
It's a pretty slow field, but geez, those 2 threads, one was incomprehensible, and the other one was just bizarre. It's just, why was he talking about NL on the top bunk? Why was he talking about time travel?
He's also talking about like incest as well. And
it was fucking weird.
Daughter, bride.
Yeah.
What?
Is he Tasmanian or what?
he's gone full Adelaide on us.
I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I don't want to be involved.
He seemed a little bit drunk last week, which people may have picked up on, and it seems like he hasn't stopped since. I don't want to go too hard on him because he's
not
all
here.
right, and he's not here to defend himself, but
If he was, he'd just say, "Shut up, you cunt. You finished."
He's just in a rut at the moment.
Well,
Mid-flog crisis.
Mid-flog crisis, a pretty good way of putting it, Jose, because really it's what's going on. He is #concerning. He is more concerning than Geelong's youth. He's more concerning than fucking Billy Smets, Reece Stanley, and Chip Butte all put
He's in
together.
a deeper hole than Rosslyn.
He's dead set concerning cat elderly. Something wrong with that cunt.
He looks as confused as the teach that Morgs got the photos of picking butts out of the bin.
It's out the bin. Ever since I revealed those photos of him, he's just...
he's rattled.
I've got him on the ropes now.
I still think with some dishonourable mentions though. I mean, Hawk came in with another shit thread.
Mention time because Teach has it won.
Just fuck off. Just stop being a little cunt and just go away with your stats and your Hawthorn won the most flags since 1961.
But Hawthorn had 40k people at this game in Tassie.
Oh no, he's
Just
one of
hope that you're as bad as him, if not worse.
Maybe I am him, Penal.
No, you're not that stupid.
No, there's no way he could have kept Taylor. He's like, guys, look, I'm Hawk.
Any other dishonourable mentions?
Mud for being muddy and also stupid.
Guys, I've got a nail.
I think that's all the dishonourable mentions, but Teach has to win it. No poll last week because, frankly, I couldn't think of fucking anything, so sorry for that.
Yeah, Tyre Boy stole he stole D-pole.
Essendon vs Hawthorn next week's games.
Penal, give us a margin. Somewhere between 150 and 220.
230.
Put it in.
Essendon will give it the old college try, but they'll lose by about 70, 80.
If you're tipping Essendon in this game, I question your sanity. I question your belief in football. And I question
what's the
if
attention?
you're not a child.
I'd say.
They've been given what the Essendon players were given, the old herd Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Hawthorn will win by 100 plus. If Hawthorn don't score 100 points, it's a choke.
I don't think they've had a 100-point loss this year. Well, there goes my prediction.
Yeah.
So that needs to happen for the good of the game. Needs to happen this week.
Hawthorn.
Puffers versus the Doggies at Adelaide Oval.
Doggies. It's a tough one, but I reckon the Doggies would, run all over them again.
If there was ever a time when a bomb could be dropped on the ground, this could be it. Because seriously, there's no real history to be lost.
2 flags between them.
2 flags between them. No one would ever give a fuck.
A bunch of tarps.
It'd be the best thing that's ever happened to both clubs. Start on.
We'd end up at war with China, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, we should do it before we get too close to China.
Port, because the Chinese probably enjoy eating dogs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's dog eating season yet, but it might be. Hang on, let me just check it out. June. Fucking oath. Port Adelaide.
Actually, before I do my tip, I need to check whether this is a 50-50 game or not. That'll help me decide. All right, let me just check.
I don't know. They've only posted stats for rounds 17 to 23.
So clearly they wanted to exclude this game because they think they'll lose it.
Yeah,
That's the only
There's no
explanation.
50-50 chance.
it doesn't fit in.
Well, they weren't saying their games. They were.
Oh no, they haven't.
No, they were saying North's games, and Port was a 50-50 one.
Oh.
Yeah, they weren't talking
I
about
don't
brain
even
games.
know.
They were talking about.
This isn't. So I don't even know if this is a 50-50 game or not. Fuck.
No, this is like teach not
Oh,
knowing where it's being played.
Well,
or
I'm going to
what-
call it 50-50 and pick a draw.
Dogs are going to win. Fuck it. Come at me, you puffer flogs.
Oh my god, Brian's versus Fremantle.
Can
Jabber.
Oh,
we have Morgs' bomb or whatever drop on
Yeah,
this
if
game
ever
instead?
a game needed a bomb dropped on it, I'm sorry, Morgs, but you can wait in line.
Are they playing at the same time? We could have like dual terror attacks.
No, they're not, unfortunately.
Oh damn!
Yeah, this game's gonna be boring, but Fremantle will probably win by like 2 points.
And only
Loser gets
score.
the priority pick.
I think the more interesting prediction is who is Tom Rockcliffe going to throw under the bus in the next week?
Probably,
Alan Christensen.
probably lethal.
Lethal.
This is a
whacking.
game that... Will anyone watch this game outside of, like, the one Brisbane supporter in
You
Brisbane?
know what? You
and
know what?
Jose?
Anyone who's got nothing better to do, because it is the 4:40 game on the Saturday afternoon.
I would rather watch rugby league.
I am pretty sure it's not hard to find
I
something
don't
better
think,
to
I don't
do
think so,
than
but
to watch
geez,
this
if you
game.
found yourself
Yes.
if you found yourself just sitting down after having watched Port versus Dogs and you couldn't be fucked getting up,
And
I
I'll
could
tell
be
you what.
doing garden work,
If you
which would be
find
more
yourself
interesting than this game.
If you find yourself in that predicament, I recommend a nap. They're really good, and 4:40 is a good nap time. So just
like
do that.
torture
Set an
time.
alarm. Wake up at 7, and you can start your day again. Don't watch this game.
If you are watching it, drink a shitload of beer
Good luck.
and
If you are
whiskey
watching this, end your life.
and get teachers hallucinogens. That will help you.
Go on a teach diet.
good idea, Cookie. You can drink this game, play a Tom Rockcliffe drinking game. Every time he gets a disposal that doesn't really do anything, drink.
I'll do that. I
wanna
will get a
kill all of
bowl of
us?
I'll get a bowl of
no,
whiskey,
no. You,
and I will do it.
Valet
You-
cookie.
you won't get killed, Penal. You just get drunk enough that the game looks vaguely interesting.
I
Oh,
doubt that.
but every time he has a disposal that doesn't do anything, that would have been 48 on the weekend.
Seriously, you'd be wanting.
48
No,
shots.
47. Let's be fair, 47. I believe he kicked a goal somehow.
Yeah,
I'll
he
do it.
did.
I will get a bottle of whiskey, and I will have a drinking game for that game. I will watch it for the good of society.
Don't.
We've talked way too much about a game that doesn't even matter before it's played. Fremantle.
Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Freeman.
Draw. Fuck it, draw.
But society will lose.
Everyone's a loser having to listen to this.
Geelong versus North, the battle for the top bunk.
Brad wins. Brad wins top bunk rights because he's sick, so he gets sick. Because when you're sick, you always get the better things. So Suze will let him have the top bunk because Chris doesn't count.
No Hawkins and probably no umpires this week, North.
Yeah, North.
I mean, Hawkins is a big loss for the Cats.
He's done fuck all. He's not a big size.
He's a big loss.
Yeah, it's a big loss to the
Yeah.
food revenue Eddie had.
He's a
But-
big loss because there'll be more space on the park.
They have to move the ball around him to get up the ground. They have to go around him. He's quite an obstacle to move the ball out defensively.
Go round.
But North should win. I mean, they're probably going a bit better than Geelong, well, a lot better, and they probably have a better midfield, despite Danger and Selwood.
Well, they do because they have more than 2 midfielders. So
Well,
win.
North have no youth, but that's still better than Geelong's youth because, yeah,
It's the youth isn't dragging them down.
exactly. North will win.
The only
No better than crap youth.
The
At
only
least-
thing that North's youth dragged down are cabbies.
At least of North's youth, contribute to their team financially or, convictions-wise. But yeah, North.
West Coast versus Adelaide over in Perth. Oh, Eagles to ski. 10 goals.
West Coast.
Kennedy played this week.
It's
Have
actually,
West Coast actually the good team over there yet? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking for the form line on this, and the best game I have is like the Dogs last week because West Coast have only really played the crap teams over there.
So they've really only played the crap teams at all because the Dogs are shit.
Oh,
No,
But they've
they
lost
played
to a bunch of
No,
teams.
they haven't. They played Richmond over there.
yeah, Richmond. That's a tough game actually to tip
I-
because
I-
Adelaide are pretty good as well. But I'd tip West Coast just purely because of home advantage.
Adelaide seemed to travel all right this year, so I'm going to go them.
Yeah, I'll probably go Adelaide. But
West
probably
Coast.
game of the round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Saints versus Carl Tank.
Ugh, fuck me. Ugh.
Carlton.
Oh, St Kilda have injuries.
Carlton.
And Carlton probably don't have the forwards to take advantage, but I still think they might just win this the way both teams are
Just
going.
come out and play well, St Kilda, for the love of God. But I've gone to Carlton. I have no faith in my team.
I reckon St Kilda will score under 50 as well.
Well, 150. Oh, he's
So 50. 50 points.
We'll score more than that.
No, you won't.
Carlton have no defenders.
And they'll score more than Freo.
Saints were pretty unconvincing against Freo, and then that loss against Adelaide. So on form, I think Carlton, they just seem to have that belief that they can win every week, pretty much. So yeah, they'll win.
It's a good story.
It's a good story. I pick Carlton.
I love football.
Richmond versus the Suns. MCG.
No, Richmond.
We'll win this
Smash
one.
it.
Ski against a weak opponent.
Unfortunately, it's not a Cairns, so Richmond to win.
Yeah, Richmond to win, but I can just predict Richmond is doing one of the epic fails and losing this game.
Giants versus the Colas. Well, as was forecast in the thread last week, I'll be supporting the Giants in this game because, they're the less plastic of the two teams. And I think
Most
they'll win.
importantly, it's
They'll
that
bounce back
spotless.
because the
Most
Swans
important.
had the tough hit out in the wet to back up.
I will
from.
go for the Giants as well because unlike a certain Sydney club, they actually can develop their own key position forwards instead of nicking them from every other team.
Yeah, I go Giants because they seem to kill everyone at Spotless, including bloody Hawthorn, especially Hawthorn actually. So they'll do the same to us.
Yeah, I feel like whoever wins football is the loser, but I will go with Sydney.
I'll go GWS, and apparently this is going to be their first sellout, which is cool.
Mm.
Yeah, there's only about 300 general admin tickets left and very few reserved seats, so good to see. Go the Giants.
More sellouts in Brisbane have had recently.
Biggest sellouts, Brisbane. No one's a bigger sellout than Port, but...
And finally on the Monday, Queen's birthday, Melbourne versus Collingwood.
I think this might be comparable to Brisbane versus Fremantle.
no.
On how
Oh, fuck.
At least people will be interested in this game.
I think it'll be a scrap fest. Penal, I'm sorry, that's great. But I think this will be a scrap fest. I reckon Melbourne to win though.
As much as I'd like all our supporters to turn up for the big freeze, I hope that not one of us other than me turns up so that Melbourne a dollar off of us. Fucking wank. I tip Collingwood.
They might not make $1 off your Morgs, but they will get 4 points off you, Melbourne.
So that'll be 8 for the year. Good work, Collingwood.
I'll go Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Melbourne have a better midfield. They're in form and they have key forwards.
Better midfield. They have a better midfield than Trelaw, Pendlebury.
Oh,
Yes, because their midfield
and-
runs both ways.
no,
They have a better
there's no
midfield than that.
uncharacteristic
Wow.
turnovers in their midfield.
And they're all accountable too.
And they have Jack Watts. That's just a win right there.
Cookie, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said. They have a better midfield.
They do. Their midfield runs both ways.
You're an idiot, too.
What do you call it? Vince? Petrarca? Pretty good, impressive young unit.
You're an idiot, Cookie. Just
I
follow
lo-
my
I love
tips,
how- I love how
Cookie.
they've got the Collingwood have the better midfield, and the second named player is the guy who's been copying shit for the last month. The most overrated
still
player
better than
in
everyone
the
else.
competition and at Collingwood.
No, in my team. Because no one else rates anyone else in
Cookie
my
said
team.
in the competition, and you kind of agreed.
I reckon.
So yeah, all of a sudden, yeah. Anyway, this was the Flopcast for round 12. Starburns joined by Cookson,
Goodbye.
Jose,
See ya.
Morgs,
Goodbye.
and Penal.
Toodaloo.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next week.